Welcome everyone, konnichiwa. Today we're going to be reading through another article from NHK Easy about earthquakes in Hokkaido. This document you can see on screen is a Google Doc. The link is in the YouTube description. I'd recommend you open it up. It's got a word list in there and also a link to the article. 今日は3日12月2018年です。Alright, let's go through our word list quickly and we'll get across all the vocabulary we're going to need for this. So first up we have Hokkaido. Okay, so we see this as an island, basically the very most northern island of Japan, very cold. Also a prefectural level administrative unit. That just means it's kind of one of the regions of Japan. So you have this word in Japanese called todofuken. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but that do from todofuken is Hokkaido. The to is for Tokyo to, I believe that's the only one. And then there's fu, which is for Osaka fu and Kyoto fu. And finally we have ken, which is probably the one everyone's actually familiar with, which is the prefecture, which is basically everything else. So for example, I used to live in Aichi-ken. All right, next we've got jishin. This is really a word we got to learn if we're going to learn Japanese. It means earthquake. We have ijo. Now there's actually quite a lot of translations for this. But we're going to see in the article, it's talking about that there's more than 150 people, this one, something like that, okay? But this I kanji is one of these receptive kanji for year 12, for example, and it gets used a lot in these type of situations where you have I and then followed by some sequence of time or location or something like that to say, you know, more than, less than, previously, all these kind of words. Okay, what else we got? Kaeru, this is to return home. Yureru, okay, going to come up a lot when we deal with jishin, because yureru is to shake. So talking about the earth shaking. We have okoru, which is to occur or to happen. And we have ie, which is house. Next we have machi, which is a city. We have atsumacho, which is atsumacho, just the name of a city in Japan. Really, I guess it's atsuma, and cho just means city. We have tatemono, this is a building. Seikatsu, kind of a broad meaning for this word, but in this instance we'll kind of talk about lifestyle, I guess, actually, but living really. Samui, this is cold. Koji, some construction work, or just work in general, generally road works, things like that. We have tariru, this is to be sufficient. And shuri, which is fixing something. Continuing on, we have susumu, this is to advance or to go forward. We have higai, this means damage or injury. Obviously we're dealing with earthquakes, so they cause injury and damage. Ukeru, to receive. And just as a bit of a revision here, ukeru, these are the types of verbs we always want to look at and go, is this a ru verb or an u verb? All right, it's these verbs that end in ru that we're always got to be a little bit careful of. And then we see that the rule is that we have to go for the preceding vowel sound, right? So we go to ke, we go, well, this is an e sound. So the rule tells us that this is going to be a ru verb in most cases, okay? And in this instance it is, because basically the test I do in my head is I just make the must form. So I go ukemas, okay? Now obviously you have to know the must form, but at least then we can say for sure that it is a ru verb just by that change. And if you don't know the must form, at that point you really do just have to look it up in the dictionary. Okay, next we've got hayai. This means early in this context. We have mae, ago or previously basically. Modoru, so to return home. And hitsuyo. All right, this is a necessity. All right, let's start with our headline. Hokkaido no jishin kara 2ヶ月。今も150人以上が家に帰れない。All right, so first of all we have Hokkaido. All right, this is our island, big island up the north. I think the capital is Sapporo. And we have jishin, okay, this is what basically the whole article is about, our earthquake. And now we have kara, okay? And kara, this word means from, okay? And I guess no is saying that Hokkaido no jishin. You know, we can read this phrase backwards and just translate no to of. So earthquake of Hokkaido. Okay, otherwise apostrophe s. So Hokkaido's jishin. Kara 2ヶ月. All right, now I've done a whole video on counting. I've done quite a few videos on counting actually, where I describe how counters work, because this is a counter we have right here. It's counting the number of months. Now, this might seem a little bit strange to some people though, that we use a hiragana ka here. And basically, it's kind of the way Japanese is moving now. The way that this used to be written with a what looks like a very small katakana ke. I explained this in the counters video, but it's kind of going out of fashion now. So this is actually a very common way to write ni kagetsu now. Okay, so basically it's been 2 months since the Hokkaido earthquake. And by the way, this article is not, it happened this year, but it's not super recent. Then we have ima mo, so even now, ima mo, 150人以上, so more than 150 people, が家に帰れない. Now, 帰れない, whenever we have a verb and it has this re or this e sound in it, you should always kind of think, hey, is this a potential form, okay? And it is here. So 帰れない, cannot return home. And 家に帰れない, cannot go back to the house. All right, and then we have our ga particle, which is kind of saying, well, these 150 people, or more than 150 people, are the people who cannot go back to their house. All right, so ga is really pointing at them, going, these are the people. This is kind of the subject. I don't really like to use this word subject, but some people like it. But it's kind of confusing in Japanese if you start thinking about subjects, I think. But this is really the specific group of people who can't go back to their house. All right, let's go to the first paragraph. So we have 6日、北海道で大きく揺れる地震が起こってから2ヶ月になりました。この地震でたくさんの家が壊れました。厚真町などでは今も150人以上が家に帰ることができなくて、町の建物などで生活しています。Alright, first thing is we have 6日. Alright, another counter. Now, when we're looking about ways we can improve our Japanese, I think being very familiar with counting in Japanese is always a number one priority. I say that especially if you're looking at taking the JLPT, year 12 exams, you need to be really good at reading numbers and kanji used with numbers. So 6日. Okay, so the 6th day of the month. Hokkaido de. So remember, de is our context particle. So in the context of Hokkaido, so this is where the earthquake took place, right? So here we're not using ni, by the way. All right, it's a very important point, and I would really recommend you look over my previous videos where I talk about verb particles to see why we're not using ni here. Because it's really not ni. Don't think of ni as every time there's a location that ni has to be involved. For example, we can say something like restaurant de taberu, okay? Now we're eating at the restaurant. So you think, why don't we use ni there? Well, it's because it's not really that we're eating the restaurant, we're eating at the restaurant. And if we put ni in there, we're kind of saying we're eating the restaurant. Not really, but it doesn't make sense, by the way, this sentence. But restaurant de taberu, it definitely does make sense. This is the way you would say it. All right, so we're saying the earthquake, was shaking or whatever in Hokkaido. So we have 大きく揺れる. All right, just a bit of a use of an adverb here. We have 大きい, which is an e adjective, which is big. And we have 大きく, so this is how we know it's an adverb, this ku here. And 揺れる, it's from our word list, means to shake. So it didn't just shake, it shook bigly or large. There was a big shake. Okay, so this 大きく is being an adverb to 揺れる. And 地震が起こってから. Now, 地震が起こる, these are very common pairings because 起こる means to occur or to happen. So 地震が起こる, the earthquake happened or occurred in Hokkaido. Now we have a te form and kara. This is a JLPT grammar point, also year 12 grammar point. But te kara, so basically from the shaking, 2ヶ月になりました. So it's been 2 months. It's become 2 months. It's been 2 months since the earthquake. Okay, 2ヶ月になりました. この地震で. Okay, so in here now, de, we're kind of still the same as what we used up here, but this de probably better to translate as by means of. So, because of the earthquake, really, この地震でたくさんの家が壊れました. Now, I just sneakily had to add 壊れました into the word list. I missed this one when I went through it originally. But 壊れました, 壊れる, is to be destroyed. Okay? So, 家が壊れました. The houses were destroyed. たくさんの家. So, many houses. There. Alright, so many houses were destroyed by the earthquake. Alright, so we've got Atsumacho. This is a city in Hokkaido somewhere. We've got Nado, which is etc. So places like Atsumacho, Dewa. Okay, so this is just a combination of that de particle we're just talking about and our wa particle, which is our topic particle. So as for in places like Atsumacho, etc. Ima mo. So even now. 150人以上, so more than 150 people, が家に帰ることができなくて. So you see this is just basically a different restating of our headline, but instead of using the potential form, which obviously saves a lot of space in a headline, when we've got more space in the body of the article, it says 帰ることができなくて. Alright, so this ことができる, ことができない, this is another important grammar point to know. But I would say this is kind of stage one. When you're looking at potential forms, you generally learn this first, and then you learn that verb conjugation as we see in the headline. Anyway, 家に帰ることができなくて. Again, a TEF form just to kind of get a join another sentence on. 町の建物など, so the buildings of the city, で生活しています. Okay, so we see that the people whose houses were destroyed in the earthquake, they're now living in some kind of city-provided accommodation, okay? So it's not really clear. These could be office spaces, maybe unused buildings, hotels, for example, is a very common one. But basically, these people are being put up in these types of buildings. Okay. So again, we've got Hokkaido, which is the place, wa, so as for Hokkaido. Korekara, so basically, I mean, we just translate this literally, really, from this, okay? But it kind of means from now. So from now, とっても very 寒くなります. Okay, we've got another adverb here. We've got 寒い, which means cold. 寒く, all right, we changed that e to a ku. And then なります is our become verb. All right, 寒くなります, so becoming colder. That's a bit of a trick actually. When you're dealing with e adjectives that become adverbs like this, you just generally put er on the end of the adjective, okay? So become colder, become taller, become hotter, all these kind of things. Then ga, all right, this is I've done a whole video on this about compound sentences, but ga is just saying but. So it's becoming cold, it's becoming very cold from now in Hokkaido, but 工事をする人が足りなくて. So koji, remember, is our construction, building kind of word. Or suru, so koji o suru hito, so people who do construction work. Ga, these are the things that. Tarinakute, there's not enough of them, right? There's insufficient amounts. So tariru, to be sufficient. Tarinai, to not be sufficient. And then we're just making another tef form out of our negative verb here. Tarinakute, so that's one reason. Ie no shuri ga susundei imasen. Again, ie no shuri. Shuri is repairs. Ie is house. So repairs of house. Okay, so just ga susundei imasen. So ga, the repairs of the house, and the repairs of the house, ga susundei imasen, are not progressing. Okay, so they've got a lack of workers who, sufficiently skilled, and so the repairs are being very slow. And they're actually saying susundei imasen, so it's just not happening at all. Actually, these people are still without a house, and it doesn't look like they're going to get back into their houses anytime soon. Machi nado wa, so the city, etc. So obviously everything that basically the earthquake affected. Higai o uketa hito ga, all right. So the people, really, this is saying actually. When it's saying machi nado wa, it's really referring to, I guess, the government, right? The local politics, right? So the people in the city, as like the mayor and all these kind of people, are saying, higai o uketa hito tachi ga So people who, people, hitotachi, who have received damage or injury, okay? Ga, so again, these are the subject, right? These are the people we're talking about. Hayaku mae no seikatsu. Now again, hayaku, we're using it, we're not using it as an adverb here. This is just as, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really just working as an adjective, all right? Hayaku mae no seikatsu, all right? Mae no seikatsu. All right, so the lifestyle of previous. Kind of a weird one, but basically their previous lifestyle. Mae no seikatsu. Kind of a very common phrase. Mae no, and then you make basically mae no x. All right, and you put something, so the previous, the former, whatever it may be. So the previous lifestyle, ni modoru koto ga dekiru. All right, now modoru, this is to return, okay? So seikatsu ni modoru, or mae no seikatsu ni modoru. Return to the, basically how you were living before the earthquake. Koto ga dekiru. All right, so able to do it, but then we see yo ni suru. Yo ni suru. Now I've done a whole video on suru with the ni particle. If you're in year 12, or you're going to be in year 12 next year, I guess, I would really recommend you watch that video. This is going to be a major grammar point for next year, especially this yo ni as well. But yo ni suru is like making a conscious choice to make an effort towards something. Okay, so remember, this is the city saying this. So the city is saying, well, the people whose houses have been destroyed and who are living out of hotels or whatever, we really want to get them back to how they were before the earthquake. Okay, so mae no seikatsu ni modoru koto ga dekiru you ni suru. Right, so basically we're saying we've got to make an effort to do this thing. Hitsuyo ga arimasu, so there is a necessity. So very common phrase again, hitsuyo ga aru or hitsuyo ga nai. There is a necessity, there isn't a necessity. So there is a necessity to get these people back to how they were before the earthquake. Okay, that's it for me. Another NHK article done. It's a very good learning resource, and I would recommend you always check the NHK Easy website. They put out lots of good material for beginners of Japanese, but also even if you find that you're an intermediate level speaker, the vocab in this is actually quite good sometimes. So it is good to read one every now and then, just as a bit of practice. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate a like and a comment. Please subscribe and you'll get notified of videos which I put out every week. Thanks again and see you guys later.